My name is Joanne. I am 60 years young. I'm married, mother of three, and two grandchildren. I retired in 2017 from the Canadian Armed Forces, and my heart journey began December 2023 while on vacation in Sweden with my husband, and we were there to watch the World Junior Hockey Tournament. The day after we arrived, we went to sightseeing, seeing different museums. And during that time, that first day, I started experiencing chest pains, which really slowed me down. It was very unusual. I didn't know what was causing it, but I took it easy for the day. When we got back to the hotel, I was able to borrow a blood pressure monitor and I checked my blood pressure and it was fine. So I didn't give it a whole lot more thought. The second day, we were out sightseeing, and because we were outside, I chose to wear a mask because I found that when I wasn't breathing in the cold air, the chest pains weren't as strong. And I thought I was controlling them by controlling my breathing with the mask on. That whole day came and went. Again, I took it easy. I was walking really slowly. Um, I was having some difficulty with breathing. And when we returned to the hotel that day, I again took my blood pressure. It was still in a normal range. So again, I decided it was probably due to the cold air, although I'm from Ottawa, so it's not like I'm a stranger to cold air, breathing cold air. But I also thought maybe it was because of the long flight that I was stiff and I was sore, and I spent like an hour stretching the upper back and the neck area, thinking that this would rectify the problem. So by the third morning, which was actually Christmas Eve, I had decided it was nothing. It was the cold air and the travel, and I was perfectly fine. Except during breakfast, the chest pain started again. So I excused myself and went back to the hotel room and checked my blood pressure. That time it was through the roof. And that's when I actually kind of got scared. I was experiencing chest pains, high blood pressure, and I was alone. Uh, Shortly thereafter, my husband arrived to the room and I explained that I really felt that there was something wrong. So we were actually in the process of checking out of the hotel room because we were going on to our next destination that day, which was 4 hours away. So we proceeded to get to a pharmacy, grab some aspirin. My husband took care of moving the luggage so that I did nothing to exert myself. We were able to get to our next destination without any incidents. And when I got there, I called the National Health Line. And the nurse strongly urged that I go to the hospital. We were very fortunate because the city we were in had, I don't know if it was the first or the second largest teaching hospital in Sweden. So I knew that I would get good care. And they were fantastic. We got to emergency, my husband and I. We were seen within 15 minutes. They did some blood work, they did an ECG, and then they had us wait. So approximately 45 minutes later, they took me into a room and hooked me up to an ECG, and I waited until a doctor came. When the doctor arrived, he informed me that I'd had a heart attack and that they were admitting me. So sent my husband home, get some rest and some food, and I proceeded to the heart wing where I was given a bed and had some tests done and went to sleep. The next morning, Christmas morning, my gift was an angiogram, and they were able to determine that one of my arteries was blocked and I required a stent. What was interesting from that discovery was also that I had another artery that was completely blocked, and it probably had been blocked for years, but the body had figured out a workaround. But that was a much bigger thing to deal with later, if we chose to deal with it later. But the stent would solve the problem that I was having at that particular time. I was lucky the doctor let me leave on the 26th of December so I wouldn't miss the first game, hockey game, on the condition that I came back the next day and he briefed me and provided me with all my prescriptions. We still had 2 more weeks on our holiday, so I just basically took it easy. So on our return to Canada, I was able to get in and see a cardiologist quite quickly, which was good. I was still very much in disbelief that this had happened to me. I was living a healthy life, little alcohol, regular exercise, no smoking, good food, and low stress. So I was still kind of questioning why this happened. I had heart disease in my family, but I figured it hadn't caught up with me as I lived a healthier life than my parents did. So I got in to see the cardiologist, but honestly, I felt that he was very dismissive. When I asked about a rehab program or getting a referral for nutritional classes, any programs that would help support me as I was now on this new heart disease journey, he told me that those programs were for people who really needed them. So, in other words, my heart attack wasn't bad enough to get any more support. But while I was in Sweden, I had gone to the Ottawa Heart Institute website or um, anything that I could find out about heart disease. And I came across a program that was a peer support program for women with heart disease that I didn't require a referral for. I decided to send them an email and ask to sign up. So in September 2024, I started with my group. I learned a lot and I came to a point of acceptance that I had heart disease and that was going to now be part of my new normal. I also felt a lot less alone each week as we bonded with the other women in the group and learned their stories and their struggles of what they were going through. I felt very supported and heard and definitely better informed. I still didn't have a good grasp on what my limitations were, however. I was racing in the Dragon Boat Festival, and I really was pushing my cardio quite extensively. And I honestly had concerns. Am I supposed to be doing this? Could this cause further issues? Um, so on my next visit to the cardiologist, I was able to have him order a stress test for me. I had to exaggerate somewhat what I was feeling as far as shortness of breath or any symptoms in order to convince him that this would be good for me and basically advocate for myself to get this done. I really felt with the stress test, it would give me a baseline of where I was, and then I would kind of have a starting point uh, to go forward from. So after I had the stress test done and I met with the cardiologist, everything was great. He said, I'll see you in 18 months, and all was good. I asked, did I have any limitations? And he said, no, go live your life. So that's what I'm doing, taking care of my physical and mental health, keeping in contact with my group. Even though the seminars are over, we have continued to stay in contact with each other and support each other and just share our lives. I'm very, very grateful to have had this option to participate in this group and to learn more about heart health and to not feel so alone in my journey.